The air is thick with the scent of damp earth as you pull up the gravel drive, gravel stones crunching beneath your tires. The cabin, nestled at the edge of a sprawling forest, looms ahead like an ancient sentinel, stoic and imposing. Its weathered wood is dulled under the weight of years, and the windows, dust-coated and still, seem to silently observe you as you step out of your car. This place, it once belonged to your grandmother, a woman known for her tales of otherworldly whispers and shadowy figures flitting through the trees. She used to tell you how the woods held secrets, but you always brushed them off as the ramblings of an eccentric old woman. You thought this weekend away from the city would be a chance to reconnect with family memories, to immerse yourself in nature, far away from the stresses of urban life. The sun hangs low in the sky, casting an orange glow that filters through the treetops, illuminating the path to the cabin. You take a deep breath, inhaling the earthy aroma mixed with a hint of pine. As you approach the door, the wood creaks ominously beneath your hand. The place hasn't been used in years. Many of the furniture pieces are draped in faded sheets, and the air is stale with the promise of dust. You take a moment, letting the quiet settle around you like a heavy blanket, before stepping over the threshold, the door sighing closed behind you. Inside, the living room greets you with a chill that rolls off the cracked wooden floorboards. A fireplace, long cold, dominates one wall, surrounded by an assortment of mismatched chairs and a time-worn couch. You remember the stories your grandmother would weave by the fire, her voice low and soothing, as the shadows danced across the walls. But today, there's an unsettling silence, a lack of even the far-off rustling of forest creatures, almost as if the very air holds its breath. Setting your bag down, you move to open a window, hoping to invite in the fading warmth of the sun, yet the window resists, stuck tight with age. Annoyed, you free it forcefully, and with a reluctant creak, it swings open, sending a shiver of air whirling through the room, stirring the stale dust into motes that hover ominously in the light. As night begins its soft creep across the sky, you unpack your things, settling in by the fireplace, finding comfort in the familiar patterns of your grandmother's crochet blankets. You light a few candles, their flickering flames casting long shadows along the walls, transforming the cabin into a flickering sanctuary. You make some tea, letting the warmth soothe your nerves as a light rain begins to patter against the roof, creating a symphony of sound that might have once lulled you to sleep, but tonight only amplifies the encroaching darkness. With night fully enveloping the outside world, the atmosphere begins to shift. The distant rumble of thunder joins the rain, and you curl deeper into the embrace of the blankets, reminding yourself that stories are just stories. Yet in the periphery of your mind, childhood memories resurface, the last time you were here with your grandmother. Her voice, low and trembling, had whispered warnings about the woods. "They listen, you know," she had muttered, her eyes darting to the shadows. "They take, if you let them." You push the memories away, scolding yourself for letting an old woman's tales haunt you. Instead, you decide to explore the cabin. The faint light from your candle guides your path. You step into the kitchen, a quaint space filled with rustic appliances. Cobwebs drape like curtains over the cabinets, and you can't help but notice how eerily quiet it is, not a creak from the old bones of the house as you wander. You rummage through drawers, finding mismatched forks and dusty jars lined with long-forgotten spices. Among them, an old, ornately carved box captures your attention. It's locked tight, but you can feel a strange energy emanating from it. It pulls at your curiosity until you hear the first crack of thunder overhead, enough to jolt you back into the moment. You return, the living room, trying to shake off the chill that has set in. As you sit back on the couch, the wind picks up outside, shrieking against the walls of the cabin. Each gust seems to carry whispers, faint and indistinct, murmuring. Your mind plays tricks on you, and you tell yourself it's nothing more than the wind through the trees. You settle deeper under the blanket, forcing your focus onto the tea tepid in your hands, fighting against the creeping unease, curling at the edges of your mind. Hours slip by in a lull of rain and murky thoughts. You breed a sense of comfort in the cabin, refreshing the fire now and then, but as the candles burn lower, flickering shadows dance ever faster across the walls. An unsettling feeling begins to gnaw at you, a whisper from the recesses of your mind urging you to leave the comfort of the light. You glance at the clock. It's only just past 10, yet the darkness feels thick, as though it could be cut with a knife. There's a sudden crack of thunder that shakes the windows. The lights flicker, drawing your attention. With another surge of wind, a chill rushes through the cabin, enough to disturb the sheets covering the furniture, causing you to shiver despite yourself. For the first time that night, a sense of wrongness settles in your gut. The hints of your grandmother's warnings tug at you, as if they'd come alive in the wake of the storm. You grab a flashlight, determined to peer into the night, to confront whatever hidden phantoms are lurking at the edge of the light. Pulling on a jacket against the chill, you step out onto the porch, the wet woods slick beneath your feet. Rain swirls around you, plastering dampness to your skin, and you flick on the beam of your flashlight, casting an aura of light that seems almost feeble against the vastness of the night. You press forward, your heart racing inexplicably. The woods appear darker than before, the trees pressing tighter against one another, their gnarled branches forming twisted silhouettes that seem to reach for you. You move deeper into the shadows until a flash of movement catches your eye. A shape flits between the trees. It's fleeting, just on the edge of your vision. A trick of the light perhaps, but you feel the hairs on the back of your neck rise. You call out into the void, your voice swallowed by the shroud of rain and darkness. Hello? It escapes your lips as a whisper. The only reply is the heavy silence broken by a distant rumble of thunder, a sound that feels almost mocking. A part of you wants to turn back to the warmth of the cabin, the stories and the safety of its walls, but something keeps you rooted to the spot. You strain your ears, listening deeper. The whispers return, low and coaxing, melding with the rustling leaves and the falling rain. There is something human in their cadence, something achingly familiar. Then you remember the box, the one you had found earlier, tucked away in the kitchen. You feel an almost magnetic pull towards it, recalling its strange energy. You turn abruptly, the beam of your flashlight cutting through the darkness like a knife, and you hurry back toward the cabin, dodging thick, drooping branches that reach toward you as if alive. Inside, the flickering light of the candles seems warmer now, wrapping you like a comforting embrace. You head straight for the kitchen, your heart pounding in your ears. The box feels heavier in your hands now, as if it has absorbed the chill from the air, each shiver racing up your spine. You set it on the table and inspect it closely. It's intricately carved, beautiful even in its age. You touch the cold surface, feeling the emblem of a tree etched into the top, its gnarled branches twisting and intertwining in strange patterns. The keyhole glimmers with an allure that tugs at something deep within you. With each passing moment, the whispers in your mind grow louder, more insistent. They seem to enkindle an insatiable hunger within you, urging you to seek out whatever is locked inside the box. You rummage through the drawers, searching for something to unlock it, though part of you knows you might be better off leaving it shut. Yet, curiosity battles against your better judgment, a force stronger than fear. Finally, you find a small hairpin, and with trembling fingers, you insert it into the keyhole. Your heart thunders as you turn, and to your surprise, there's a satisfying click. The lid springs open, revealing a collection of brittle letters tied with a faded ribbon and a small, weathered locket. You lift the locket, the silver cool against your skin as you crack it open to reveal a tiny portrait. A woman whose resemblance to your grandmother sends a wave of nostalgia crashing over you. But there's something in her eyes, a depth of sorrow and despair that makes your breath hitch. The letters flutter in the air as you pull them free, and as you read the first few lines, the sense of wrongness deepens. They're written in your grandmother's handwriting, her tightly scrawled letters bearing witness to a growing fear, a fear of something the woods were capable of. Words of a pact, requests for safekeeping, and echoes of voices lost to the forest swirl through the ink-splattered pages. Panic rises within you as countless questions form, but confusion still filters through. The they she speaks of, the whispers that creep through the trees. Suddenly, a loud bang shocks you from the letters, rattling the walls of the cabin. Instinctively, you look toward the source of the sound, your heart racing. The wind has shifted, and the air grows oppressive, almost suffocating. Your flashlight flickers, almost snuffing out in the heavy atmosphere, before dying completely, enveloping you in utter darkness. In that moment, fear spirals within you, a tight coil ready to snap. You fumble your way back to the candles, lighting them as you glance around, anxiously gripping the edges of the table to ground yourself. You feel a presence, something beyond the shadows, watching from the corners of the room. The whispers rise, echoing your grandmother's warnings, twisting through your mind until they settle into a single phrase: you must not listen. Then you hear it, soft footfalls, almost imperceptible against the wood, moving closer and closer, deliberate with each step. Your breath crescendos as you fight the urge to spin around, wanting nothing more than to flee the cabin, to escape the creeping dread that threatens to consume you. But a compelling force tugs you to remain, to confront what's drawn so near. And just then, the moon breaks through the clouds, casting a silvery beam that floods the room, revealing a figure cloaked in shadow. It stands at the edge of the light, liquid darkness pooling around its feet. The shape seems to shimmer, almost human, yet grotesque in how it refuses to form, as if it's caught between realities. Your heart races, and your voice catches in your throat. You know you should scream, flee, but you're paralyzed as the horrifying truth dawns upon you, the embodiment of all the tales, all the warnings. "Why do you come here?" it whispers, its voice a ghastly reflection of your grandmother's low tone, a chilling mimicry that sends shivers down your spine. You listen. The words curl around you, slippery and hypnotic, a snake ready to strike. You hear the call. You shake your head, but the once familiar words of caution now blur against the encroaching darkness. The figure extends a hand, beckoning as the air thickens with an overwhelming sense of wrongness. You feel the letters in your hands, burdened by the weight of generations, truths long buried. "Join us," it implores, the shadows swirling, a hunger emanating that you can almost feel in your bones. Panic surges as you push back against the invisible weight, free yourself from its grasp. You snatch the locket from the table, clutching it against your heart, knowing now its significance. You remember your grandmother's tales, the warnings of whatever lives in these woods, lurking, listening, waiting for someone to give in. With one thrust, you slam the box closed, the audible click breaking the eerie stillness. The darkness shrieks, a sound unlike anything you've ever heard, like the keening of lost souls intertwining. The figure recoils, the shadows swirling violently around it until it flickers and wavers. Your mind races, the stories echoing in a cacophony of fear as everything trembles with an impending dread. You rush to the front door, heart pounding against your chest, feeling the pull of the forest still tinged with darkness behind you, the whispers rising louder, inexorable. Gripping the doorknob, you open the door with a swift yank, but as you step outside, the chilling presence of the woods engulfs you in a shroud once more. The rain pelts down, soaking you to the bone, but you don't care. You bolt down the porch steps and into the cool, wet embrace of the night, the quiet but for the storm. Behind you, the cabin looms, shadows shifting in the corners, questions unanswered. You run, every instinct screaming at you to escape, to leave the darkness behind. The trees close in around you once more, their gnarled branches clawing at the air. But as you run, the sense of pursuit, the feeling that something is there, watching, waiting, rides on your heels. Every frantic step forward feels ironic, an advance into safety, yet the darkness beckons with a seductive promise, whispering you back, dragging you toward the depths of what you might never understand. And as you reach the very edge of the woods, you hesitate just briefly, glancing back toward the flickering lights of the cabin. There's an emptiness now, a silence that weighs heavier than the storm. It feels almost like an invitation, a dangerous allure that will always whisper from the shadows, a reminder that some doors once opened can never be closed. You turn and run without looking back, the night swallowing your cries as you flee into the darkness. But even then, a part of you can feel it still, a lingering presence in the silence, an echo of your past, coaxing you to return.